And a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Henley Baseball today on 104.3 and 960 Sports and live on mybasin.com. Skyline Conference play continues today as the Hornets find themselves at lovely Kiger Stadium in a beautiful sunny day here in Klamath Falls. My name is Josh Eldridge, joined by Walter Hartley. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we are nearly ready for baseball. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will get you the Kyle's Lawn Care starting lineups. We will also introduce or talk to you a little bit about the last time these two teams faced off. That's all coming up as we continue your pregame coverage of Henley Baseball today on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Well, we would introduce you to the Kyle's Lawn Care starting lineups, although we're going to have to wait just for one moment. We're going to step aside for one more quick break here from Kiger Stadium as we have the playing of the national anthem here locally. We will step aside one last time. We'll be back in just a minute on mybasin.com.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home, I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Josh Eldridge and Walter Hartley back with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. It's time to introduce you to the Kyle's Lawn Care starting lineups, and we'll begin with our visitors today. That's the Henley Hornets. Leading off at shortstop is Connor Shively. Mark Carpenter bats second at third base. Jacoby Tacchini is catching, hitting third, followed by Bo Pyle, the designated hitter, batting fourth. Hitting fifth is the starting pitcher for Henley, Corbin Hamilton, followed by Ian Meyer, the first baseman. Carson Pimley is in right field, batting seventh, followed by Derek Cox, the second baseman, hitting eighth. And then Ryan Douglas rounds out the Henley order. He is in center field. They'll be going up against P.J. Safford on the hill for Klamath Union. We'll take a look at him in just a moment. But first, we'll introduce you to the starting nine for Klamath Union. Leading off for them is Maruk Morris in center field. Griffin Johnson is the designated hitter, batting second, followed by the pitcher, P.J. Safford, hitting third. Ryan Glidden bats cleanup for Klamath Union. He starts at shortstop, followed by Reese Johnson, the third baseman. Jack Everett is at second base, hitting sixth, followed by the first baseman, Nathan Ferns, hitting seventh. Nolan Baker is in left field, and Luis Mesa Bravo is batting ninth and is catching for the Klamath Union Pelicans. Take a look at the man on the mound for Klamath Union, and that is P.J. Safford. Looking at Safford on the season, a 3-2 record. This will be his seventh start of the season. An ERA of about 2.5 in 24 2/3 innings work. If there's a guy you want on the mound for Klamath Union against this Henley order, it's certainly P.J. Safford, as he pitched fairly well against Klamath Union when these teams played a season ago. But when they played earlier this season, a less than ideal outcome for Klamath Union, as it was a win for Henley back on April 3rd, 13-1. That game was played right here at Kiger Stadium, fueled by a big second inning for Henley at the time where they scored 7 runs and just held on for a convincing win over Klamath Union. But the Pelicans, for their part, they have gathered themselves and played pretty good baseball since that loss. They beat Mazama, they beat Phoenix, and they beat Madras. They did get swept by Hidden Valley in their series last week and only scored 1 run in that series. But Hidden Valley, a very good ball club, and they'll look to right the ship today against the Henley Hornets. As we're just about ready for baseball today, Connor Shively, left-handed bat for the Hornets, gets ready to settle in. Walter, you were making the comment before we got on the air today, just what a beautiful day it is for baseball. I mean, just the clouds and the mountains in the background, just really a great day for it. P.J. Safford ready to go with our first pitch. It is grounded over towards third. Throw on its way is high, takes the first baseman off the bag.
And that puts him just over a 500 on-base percentage.
Yeah, he's a guy who gets on base, that time via the error over there by the third baseman making the high throw. So Shively on the first pitch reaches on the error, and that brings up maybe the most dangerous man in 4A baseball, and that's Mark Carpenter.
I was making the comment earlier, his on-base percentage is 536, which is an insane stat to have in baseball.
Safford comes set, ready to deliver the first pitch to Carpenter. Hardly a lead to speak of for Shively off of first, and the first pitch misses wide, 1-0. And you talk about crazy stats for these players for Henley. You can really go, these top 3 guys in the order all have immaculate statistics. I mean, Mark Carpenter, who's batting right now, Jacoby Tacchini, who hits next. These guys lead the conference in hits. The two of them at the top of the list as Carpenter takes a pitch down in the dirt, but Shively stays put at first. The count now 2-0 to Carpenter. But Shively, like you said, he gets on base and sets the tables for guys like Tacchini to lead the league in RBIs. We'll talk about him more in just a moment as Carpenter settles in a 2-0 count.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me still that Tacchini's only a freshman.
Move over to first and back safely as Shively. You're exactly right. He had a pretty long summer with the Klamath Falls Falcons. Got a lot of playing time against guys who, on paper you'd say are better than him. In some cases, the 5A player of the year. But you only get better by playing guys who, on paper, are better than you. That's the only way you can improve. And Tacchini, again, we'll talk about him in a moment, certainly saw that firsthand during the summer as the 2-0 pitch is going to find the zone, I believe. In the meantime, Shively swipes second. That's the danger of letting him on base to start a ball game. The count now 2-1 to Mark Carpenter.
He's in scoring position for sure. If Mark can definitely get a double off of any pitch.
2-1. Safford taking a look at the runner. Everett trying to keep Shively honest at second. The pitch is down, and the count moves now to 3-1. Well, Carpenter came up with a first-inning RBI double last time these two teams played, and he knocked in Connor Shively to do it. And last time that these two teams met, Carpenter finished just 1 for 3, but that that one double helped Henley grab an early lead back on April 3rd as Safford steps off, takes a look back at the runner Shively, but he just scampers back to second and safely. Around the diamond for Klamath Union, it's Johnson at third, Glidden at short, Everett at second, and Ferns at first. We'll get you the outfield after this 3-1 pitch. Shively, secondary lead, finds him halfway down the third base line. Line drive to left field. Baker lays out and catches it.
What a catch.
That was a fantastic catch in left field, certainly saving a run for the Pelicans. Carpenter, the first out in the first inning. That was a great catch. Well, here is Jacoby Tacchini, the man we've been alluding to a little bit throughout the game. The freshman batting well over 400. Why, you got his stats there. What's Tacchini's batting average right now this season?
Let's see. He's 432 and a 545 on-base percentage. He gets hit a lot.
Lead off a second is Shively, the second baseman. Everett back to his original position. First pitch to Tacchini's in the dirt. Mesa Bravo blocks it, but Shively, the wheels get him in at third, now just 90 feet away from the opening run of the ball game. That pitch, of course, in the dirt, ruled a ball to Tacchini. Now, last time these teams played, Tacchini was 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. Had a big double in the third inning, which I talked about a little bit earlier. Henley scored 7 runs in the third inning to effectively put that game away. Here he sends a line drive into left field. That's going to get down in front of Baker and will score Shively. How about another RBI for the league leader? Jacoby Tacchini on first as his team leads 1-0.
Well, we talked about how Shively, his speed, he's so good at stealing bases. He has a stolen base percentage of 100% on 13 steals.
Wow.
Well, that's 15 now.
Yeah, he's able to reach on an error and then gets to third base without even needing a ball put in play to get there, and that's the danger of letting him on. Now running in for Tacchini is Porter Frost, so he's over there at first. And in to bat now is the designated hitter, Bo Pyle. Now, Pyle didn't have his best performance over at Phoenix over the weekend. Heading into that weekend, though, had an extra base hit in his past 3 games. Actually had 6 total in the 3 games preceding that matchup against Phoenix. He did add a double in the opener of a doubleheader on Saturday, but was held hitless in the nightcap. Pass ball allows Porter Frost to advance to second there. It's a 1-0 count at the plate to Pyle. Another pass ball will allow Frost to advance to third. And again, without putting a ball in play, the Hornets move a runner from first to third.
Right now, the mobility of the ball for KU is really killing them. They're not able to make those throws to get those steals out.
Pyle pops one up in the infield, should be playable for Everett. Drops the hat to fight the sun, but makes the catch for the second out. Staying at third is Frost, but now there's 2 away for the pitcher, Corbin Hamilton. A chance to help himself out a little bit for Corbin. Last time these teams squared off, Hamilton was 2 for 4, a couple of singles and an RBI in that performance. Here he takes the first pitch. It's low and away for ball 1. After Hamilton in the order for Henley, it's Ian Meyer. Here's the 1-0 from Safford. That pitch finds the outer third. Good location there for PJ, and it's a 1-1 count. And one thing you notice out there on the mound for Safford, confidence to continue to throw the fastball, but also mixes in the off-speed pitch as well. He throws a good slider and mixes in the changeup. Now behind in the count 2-1, but again, he has that confidence out there to challenge Hamilton. We'll see where he goes. Fastball misses upstairs, 3-1.
And no pass balls when it counts here. Henley's looking to steal home. We've got a fast runner on base.
3-1. That one does find the zone. That looked to be one of the breaking pitches from Safford, and to go to it in a 3-1 count certainly shows that confidence I was talking to you about. Here he goes in a full count. Roller to third. Johnson charging. Fields it on 2 hops. Off balance. Throw to first is in time. And a nice play to end the inning for the Pelicans, but not before Henley scores 1 run on 1 base hit. 1 Klamath Union error, and the Hornets leave 1 stranded. We'll go to the bottom of the first. Henley leads 1-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside. It's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Getting ready for the bottom of the first inning here from historic Kiger Stadium. We were talking about the weather a little bit earlier today. You take a look outside the press box. It's a beautiful day, but it's not exactly warm outside. It's 59 degrees and cooling off. It's still a good day, I guess, for baseball in Klamath Falls when around this time of year we could be looking at 40-degree temperatures. I suppose we should be thankful when we got it. But right now, Henley leads 1-0 over Klamath Union in the Skyline Conference matchup. And Corbin Hamilton is the man on the mound for Henley. Walter, you got some stats there on Corbin on the mound there for us?
Yes, I do, right here. All right, let's look at his ERA here. Corbin Hamilton has an ERA of 1.145, which is impressive.
Second in the conference in that mark, only behind his teammate, Mark Carpenter. So leading off for Klamath Union is Maruk Morris, the starting center fielder for the Pels. Look to get a rally started. They're down 1 early here. Looking at Morris on the season, a .229 batting average at this point in the year. Here's the first pitch from Hamilton. First pitch swinging for Morris. He fouls it back to count 0-1. After Morris, it's the designated hitter, Griffin Johnson, followed by the pitcher, P.J. Safford. Hamilton likes to take his time out there on the mound. Sort of the opposite end of the coin to the other 2 Henley pitchers who like to work a little bit quicker. This time a fly ball out to center field. Ryan Douglas gets underneath it and puts that one away for the first out. A good time to go around the diamond for the Henley Hornets. Jacoby Takini, the other half of the Henley battery. He is catching, followed by Mark Carpenter at third. Connor Shively patrols shortstop. Derek Cox is at second, followed by Ian Meyer at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Hunter Glidden, Ryan Douglas, and Carson Pimley. As Griffin Johnson looks to step in now for the Pelicans.
Just speaking about this Henley defense, I've seen many times where teams have made great contact against them just for it to be an out because of the efficiency that they have.
The 0-1 pitch finds the outside 0-2. Yeah, you're certainly right. Really some good players around the diamond. You take a guy like Connor Shively over there at shortstop, for example, a guy who was a catcher a season ago as the 0-2 is swung through. Griffin Johnson down on strikes for the second out in the first inning. But going back to the point about Shively, he was a catcher a year ago, an all-state catcher, but he's got soft hands, and Henley feels confident putting him out there at shortstop, and, well, he's filled the role nicely. Even guys who move around positions, Derek Cox, who's out at second base, another good example, just a freshman, but has already played the outfield, has played a little infield, and has shown to be very comfortable out there. First pitch to P.J. Safford around the knees, but over the plate for strike 1. Safford leads the team in batting at this point in the season, batting .375 as he takes a pitch upstairs, 1-1.
You can tell the Henley team is used to his pitching, taking his time pitching.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Hamilton really likes to pause out there, especially with no runners on base, really feel the at-bat out. And when you watch the other two guys who typically get the ball to start for Henley, Mark Carpenter, Bo Pyle, these are guys who typically like to work a little bit faster, come right after hitters, don't let them settle in the box. But Hamilton likes to settle in. And here he comes with the 1-2. Hard line drive to short. Shively can't play it on a hop. It goes over his shoulder and into left field. And that'll be a base hit for Safford as he is aboard at first, bringing up Ryan Glidden. That's a tough ball for any shortstop to make a play on, especially with the amount of backspin that was on that line drive from Safford. So give him the single, and that brings up Ryan Glidden. Runner aboard at first with 2 outs.
His method could explain his ERA and his impressive stats, because pitching really is a mind game. It's like chess out there.
Yeah, no doubt. But now, with a runner on base, you won't have as much opportunity to take his time with a runner on. Don't want to act too slow out there. Although Safford not exactly a threat to steal a bag, he is a smart base runner.
It looked like Ryan was expecting to get hit there. He kind of turned his shoulder. Must have been a hard-breaking ball.
The 1-1 from Hamilton. That one's hit in the air hard, center field. Douglas turns around. That one is over his head, and it's going to roll to the wall. Safford going to third. Safford now digging for the plate. Heading for third is Glidden, and an RBI triple for Ryan Glidden. Ties us up at 1.
What a hit.
Got just about every piece of that baseball. Douglas took the best route he could have to it, but just over his head, into the gap, and to the wall. And an opportunity for us to kind of talk about the dimensions here at Kiger Stadium. Center field fairly deep, 385, and that was hit pretty much all the way to the wall out there. Left and right center field, 350 and 325 down either line as Reese Johnson takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Next one to Johnson is low. For Glidden, by the way, that was his 3rd triple of the season, his 8th run batted in. And again, tying us up here at 1 in the early going. Now a 3-0 count to Reese Johnson. Jack Everett waits on deck.
That triple was a godsend to KU with 2 outs.
Yeah, really the whole 2-out rally. You start with a Safford single and followed up with that extra base hit. This whole offense has been with 2 outs, and now another walk keeps this inning alive for Jack Everett. First walk issued by Hamilton this game. Jacoby Tacchini is going to go out and have a little chat with his pitcher, although probably just trying to check in, make sure he's all right. It gives us an opportunity to remind you today's game is brought to you in part by Gino's Cafe on East Main Street. They're open every morning at 6:30, serving their famous breakfast burritos. Those are served all day long, along with other menu items like burgers, monthly specials, Italian favorites. You can order online at iloveginos.com, or you can order on DoorDash.
I'm curious what you think KU will do. Do you think they'll try to steal second with 2 outs left?
Well, with Johnson, probably not with 2 outs, I'd have to say. Although, with such a gap there on the right side, Cox is cheating a little bit over towards second. He could probably bear to stand a few more steps to the right. But you put a ball in the gap there on the right side, you could think about a hit and run, but it just depends on how much you trust a guy at the plate like Jack Everett. Take a look at the stats this season for Everett. A sub-100 batting average. He's .038. So in just hopes of getting him on base and letting him play out in that bat here, I would imagine now, especially with 2 strikes, these runners are going to stay put.
What an absolute meatball was just thrown.
Glidden at third, Johnson at first. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Down on strikes goes Everett, and that will end the inning. However, Klamath Union does respond on a couple of base hits. They leave 2 runners stranded, and we are tied at 1 going to the second on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Josh Eldridge and Wyatt Hartley, Walter Hartley, pardon me, on 104.3 and 960 Sports. You know, I knew a Wyatt H last name, and so I feel like almost every time I go to say your name, it almost comes out as Wyatt, so I apologize. Walter Hartley with us here on 104.3 and 960 Sports. We're tied at 1 in the top of the second inning, and here we go. Walter, take it away.
All right, let's see. We got Meyer up to bat. First pitch, no good. Inside. Catches the outside, you call it the outside third. I would say that's an outside fourth of the plate there, outside quarter.
Yeah.
Tries the same pitch, won't go, too low.
Ian Meyer's a guy who's not an everyday player for Henley, but typically when Corbin Hamilton comes in to pitch, he's a guy who finds himself playing first base, plays about every third game.
Ball fouled hard, just over the stands there. Not easy to make a play for right field. Ball high. That'll bring the count to 3-2, full count. All right, something has to happen this play. We'll see. PJ looks for the sign, pitches. He's going to walk him. He's going to walk Isaac Meyer?
Ian Meyer.
Ian Meyer. Talking about names.
Yeah.
Wyatt Hartley.
It happens to the best of us.
And you are the best of us, Josh.
I don't know about that. I'll take it where I can get it, but I'm not too sure.
Safford looks for his sign. He's going to take his time on this one. Looks the runner. Goes for the pickoff. Won't get it.
You know, for a right-handed pitcher, Safford has a pretty quick move over to first. Something I know that he's worked on throughout the summer with the Falcons, and I'm sure has continued throughout the spring.
Bunts down the center. Throws two. Looks for the double play. He'll throw to first. Won't go. Pass ball. And Henley will not try and steal second on that one.
So Carson reaches there on a fielder's choice. Meyer is out. That's out number one there.
It's something that we talk about, footwork. He plays he plays football as well, and I know that's something that they work on in football is footwork. So he's kind of like an illusion. He moves quick. He's shifty for a big guy.
Talking about PJ out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ball high and in. Taking his time. Oh, great contact. Straight to left field, and it's an out. That'll bring the outs to 2. And KU looks to finish this inning. I'm surprised Pimley has not tried to steal second. However, there have been no pass balls this inning, so that is an improvement from last inning for sure. PJ to pitch.
There goes Pimley.
And they will not try and get him. Too fast, I guess.
Talk about speed as well. The guy who's batting right now, Ryan Douglas, He runs into a few, but he's really dangerous just putting the ball in play and trying to beat out an infield single or a loopy base hit.
Good contact, straight to the shortstop. He'll go to first. One hop. Called safe. And
Pimley comes around to score.
yeah. Infield single, RBI.
So we'll go. That was an infield single, throwing error from the player who fielded the ball over there, which allowed the runner to come in and score. So Henley leads 2-1. Runner on first is Douglas. But there you see exactly what I was talking about, beating out the infield single. You don't have to hit the ball particularly hard, but if you got those wheels, you can make it to first and help a run get across to score.
And they'll try and get him at second. Great play made by Ryan Glidden. The throw just was not on target.
Yeah, Glidden had to move over off the bag just to keep the ball from winding up in center field there.
Yeah, as a shortstop, he had to run into the second base's position here. Safford looks at the runner. Take his time. And he'll catch the outside third of the plate there.
It's a good location.
Great location, especially against a team like Henley who can get their bats going.
But now a guy like Shively, he can hit the ball the other way. But Safford a couple pitches to work with now and an 0-2, see where he goes.
0-2. Oh, thrown right, meatball. And that's a base hit down the middle. He will bat in. And that's an RBI, and he'll hit in Ryan Douglas.
So a single for Shively. He advances to second on the throw. Give him an RBI, and that brings up Mark Carpenter. Still with 2 outs.
Mark Carpenter is a dangerous guy to have up at the plate, even with 2 outs.
Yeah, no doubt. And with a runner in scoring position, no less, finds himself in a pretty similar spot as he did in the first inning.
He made good contact last inning. He just hit it straight to
left field.
Straight to left field, yeah. Foul ball hit hard.
Look out.
Wow.
People sitting over there on the patio got to bring their glove to the baseball game.
He definitely caught all of that ball. Runner at 2. Mark Carpenter up to hit. PJ Safford to pitch. Doesn't like any of the signs. That's his third sign that he hasn't liked. Looks the runner back to second. Motions to his teammate. Where are you at?
Second baseman had to come over there and cover. Seems like there's been a little confusion over which guy, whether it's Everett or Glidden, to cover the bag, whether it's on a stolen base or in a pickoff situation like that.
Yeah. Great contact, straight to center field. And the play is made. That's the end of the top of the first inning.
So Henley scores 3. They do 2 base hits to do it. One Klamath Union error allows a run to score as well. They leave a runner stranded. We'll go to the bottom of the second inning. Henley with a 3-1 lead here on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
It starts to warm up outside. It's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Here we go in the bottom of the second inning. Henley leads 3-1. Scored a couple of runs in the top of the second. Klamath Union did a good job of responding in the first. We'll see if they can do it here in the second. Here is Walter Hartley for more play-by-play.
All right. We've got... So I heard from an outside source that... Oh, strike one. I heard from an outside source that P.J. Safford and Mark Carpenter have a little wager on. So Mark Carpenter is 0 for 2 against P.J. Safford, so that's where the wager's at now.
Yeah, they're good friends outside of baseball, guys who, well, of course, play against each other here, but played together on the Klamath Falls Falcons summer team. And that's the case for a handful of these guys who are friendly outside of the game, but that's what it's all about.
Pitch inside for strike 2. Strike 3. And Ryan Douglas shows off his excellent pitching ability.
It's Corbin Hamilton out there, but that's
Corbin
all right.
Hamilton.
That's all right.
Oh, yep.
But he does. I mean, that's 3 strikeouts for him now in the first 2 innings.
Outside and high for ball 1. And the sun is finally starting to poke through the clouds there.
Yeah.
Beautiful day. That's ball 2. And that'll be 2-0 for the count.
I saw it today. I was looking at the weather report, and talking here on the morning show as I do. It's a 2-0 swung on a miss. I was looking at the weather, and it said that there was a chance of rain today on one of the sources I look at, and I thought, there's got to be no rain today. I hope it doesn't rain here at Kiger Stadium. We don't need it. So far, so good as far as the rain front goes. It's maybe a signal of it over as if you look towards the east, but hardly at all.
Pitching count 3-1. Hamilton throws a strike, and it's popped up. It will be foul if they don't catch, and they do not catch it. Strike 2.
Looked like Mark had called Corbin off trying to make that play in foul territory, and then in an effort to not try to collide with Corbin, it just wound up being unplayable for Carpenter there. So staying alive in the at-bat is Nolan.
He should have left it up to the catcher to catch that one. It was right behind home plate. And ball down the middle for ball 4.
I think that looked maybe a little bit high. If it missed anywhere, my guess would be high. So second walk issued there for Corbin, and now the catcher for KU, Luis Mesa Bravo.
All right, Hamilton to pitch. Swung on a miss.
We saw last inning Corbin get through the first couple of guys pretty easily, but a runner on base with 2 outs allowed Klamath Union to extend the inning and therefore score a run. Now they got a guy on base with just 1 out, so we'll see if Corbin has kind of found something to try to get himself out of this inning without allowing that run to come across.
Takes his time. He'll throw, and that's another swing and a miss. Luis must be seeing something that we're not seeing here.
Just a hard fastball.
What's his velocity? Do we know?
I don't know about Corbin so much.
Ball inside for strike 3.
That's tough. Go to the same location 3 times. That looked to be the changeup, though, from Corbin. Go fastball in, and then you go in again, but this time you change the velocity, and I think might have caught Mesa Bravo a little bit on his front foot. Now back to the top of the order for KU with Maruk Morris.
Ball inside. Looks to be the same pitch that he threw Luis, maybe just a couple inches off.
Shows good confidence in a pitcher like Corbin to continue to try to work inside. No fear of hitting the batter, at least not yet.
Well, it really sets the tone of the whole series there. If you throw a pitch inside, it lets the batter know, hey, I'm not afraid to come to you.
Exactly.
Morris on a swing and a miss for strike 2. Morris taking his time outside the box. Giving a moment to catch his breath, get his mindset going. Hamilton throws. It's a ball. It's high. They try and pick off the runner, and they do. It's an out. That's the third out, and that's going to be the bottom of the second.
No runs, no hits, no runners left for KU. They trail 3-1 as we go to the third here on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Getting ready for the top of the third inning, a 3-1 ball game. Henley leads Klamath Union today. Skyline Conference play continues this whole week for both of these teams. It begins today, and then a doubleheader back at Henley on Saturday will conclude the season series between Klamath Union and Henley. They played once earlier this season. It was back on April 3rd. Henley won 13-1. And again, right now, up 3-1. It's Jacoby Tacchini, Bo Pyle, and Corbin Hamilton to lead things off for Henley. First pitch from Safford is in the dirt, 1-0. Tacchini 1 for 1 today, had a single in the first inning. Here's the 1-0 to him. That pitch misses down as well, 2-0. It was one run in the first for Henley, followed by two more in the second. But it was the third inning, like I said, last time these two teams played, that Henley really was able to extend their lead. 7 runs in the third inning last time these teams played. And Jacoby Tacchini, who's batting now, was instrumental in that. Had a 3 RBI double to continue a big rally for Henley there. Now in a 2-1 count, he watches one miss outside the count, 3-1 to Tacchini. You know, in an unfamiliar or unusual position for Tacchini here, leading off an inning rather than hitting with a couple runners on base. Of course, it's going to happen a few times throughout the season as he faces a 3-1 count against Safford. Ground ball out towards short. A 2-hopper fielded by Glidden. Throw across the diamond is in time, and Tacchini is the first casualty in the third inning.
Great play made there at shortstop from Ryan Glidden.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Glidden, I've only seen KU once this year, but Glidden kind of playing out of position here. Typically, he's in the outfield and now having to move up to shortstop. So it's a good play that he was able to make there. KU's having to deal with that a little bit all over the place, like we talked about earlier, without Tilden Kaufman in the order today, dealing with a foot injury. Sure. And so it's good that they've got a guy like Glidden who can come out there and try to make a few plays.
I talked to Coach JT, and he said,
another roller towards short. Sorry to cut you off there, Walter. This time Glidden backhands it again. Makes a strong throw, an accurate throw, but Bo Pyle beats out the infield single, and that will bring up Corbin Hamilton.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach JT there, and he was saying that PJ Safford hit a ground ball, so Tilden was trying to slide to avoid that play, and he ended up spraining his ankle.
Hoping for a speedy return for that guy. He's been really instrumental in a big turnaround this season for Klamath Union. As Hamilton settles in, on the move is Pyle looking to steal second. The throw down is late. It was on target from Mesa Bravo, but just took a hop to get there, and Pyle is able to slide in safely, a runner in scoring position, and an 0-1 count to Hamilton.
Safe by a mile.
And Hamilton 0 for 1 today. But KU entering this game today 7-7, as I was talking about the turnaround for this program, already more wins than a season ago and their most since 2019. Here's another bouncing ball towards shortstop. Glidden this time moving over towards second. That's a strong throw in time to get Hamilton, but Pyle does advance to third in the meantime. So 2 away, and that will bring up Ian Meyer with a runner at third.
Ryan Glidden getting his reps in today.
Yeah.
That's 3 plays in a row right to him.
He's able to make 2 of them and really make all 3 of them. Bo beat out the infield single, but yeah, certainly he's staying busy out there this half inning. Here's the first pitch to Meyer. That one's low.
And from someone who we've seen has 32 pass balls, that was a great play to make to keep the ball in front of him.
Yeah, especially with a runner on third. These are the moments where Mesa Bravo, and any good catcher for that matter, wants to not let anything get by him and give away a free run.
Ball hit hard out to right field. Well,
especially when Safford has done a good job at producing ground balls here. Want to make sure you can pick up your guy out there on the mound. It's a 1-1 count to Meyer now. Safford back to working from the windup with a runner on third. And here's the pitch. Misses wide, 2-1.
Henley is just crossing their fingers to get another pass ball here.
Base hit would also score the runner. Here's the 2-1. And that one finds the zone. 2-2. After Meyer in the Henley order, Carson Pimley will hope for an opportunity to hit if Meyer can find a way to get on base. Here's the 2-2 from Safford. Slow roller to third. Johnson charging. It eats him up over there at third, and that's going to allow Meyer to reach first. Another error out there at third, this time allowing a run to score. So there you go. Any way you can get on base and extend the inning for Henley, you'll take it. You'll take another run as well, now up 4-1. And here's Carson Pimley.
Tough hop.
Runner at first. Pimley reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning and would later come around to score. And again, hoping to extend this 2-out rally with Derek Cox waiting on deck. Taking off from first is Meyer. A pitch in the dirt. Mesa Bravo kept it in front of him, but not able to recuperate in time to make the throw to second. Meyer is in safely, and a 1-0 count to Carson Pimley.
You know, if I were teaching my kids about stolen bases, I'd bring them to this game to see Henley. They're putting on a clinic right now.
They've gotten a lot better on the base paths. You know, a season ago, Henley had the most wins in program history, 2 losses. One of them came in the semifinal and ended their season maybe a bit prematurely, depending on who you ask. But if there was one thorn in their side all season long, it was the base running. And it seems like they've improved upon that this season.
Another foul ball to the right of the post.
Just means you're a little bit late on the fastball from P.J. Safford. So Pimley now with 2 strikes, probably going to choke up a little bit on the bat. Safford making eye contact with the runner Meyer out there at second before getting back on the rubber. Now comes set.
Safford's looking strong today.
See where he goes on the 1-2. Taking his time. Kicks. Fires. Another line drive. This one also looks to be foul down the right side. So good job by Pimley to try and stay alive in this at-bat.
Good pitches from Safford to induce those foul balls.
Yeah, he's trying to find strike 3 on the outside on these last few pitches. We'll see where he goes now in the 1-2. Here it comes. That pitch was inside, but Pimley still able to get a piece of it.
I would not be surprised if he went high and inside.
We've seen him go to the slider in these situations in the past.
He did say that was his favorite pitch in the pregame interview.
Here we go. There it looked to be. Just missed on the outside. Good eye there from Pimley to lay off the breaking pitch that missed wide. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on second. Safford shakes off the first sign delivered to him. Now agrees. He comes set.
Let's see if we get a second slider.
Looked like it was, and that froze up Pimley, sends him packing for the 3rd out in the 3rd inning. But Henley does score 1 on a base hit. A Klamath Union error helped him out, and they leave a runner on base. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Henley up 4-1 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Keep it right here.
So lonely like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Get you back in the bottom of the third inning. Henley leads Klamath Union 4-1 in the Skyline Conference affair. Looks like there's been a couple of defensive switches for Henley. Try to get who the new right fielder is. I want to say that's Chase Barrett out in right field, who's come in for Pimley. First pitch to Maruk Morris is going to miss wide from Corbin Hamilton. 1-0. Morris batting leadoff for Klamath Union was 0 for 1 with his only at-bat coming in the first inning. Here a ground ball to second. Derek Cox up with it. Throw on to first in time for the first out. Yeah, that is a Hornet wearing number 3 and patrolling second base, but it is not Carson Sims. It's Derek Cox, guy playing up from the JV squad, but looks pretty comfortable out there at second base. Of course, replacing Sims in the order at least for the next couple of weeks. Carson was hit by a pitch in his throwing arm on his wrist, and so wound up having a fracture on his wrist, so he's missing a couple weeks. But you have guys like Derek Cox from the JV squad who are able to come up and fill the spot.
Well, when you talk about Henley baseball, you're talking about a strong program who's been good for a lot of years.
Absolutely.
So their JV players are definitely going to be up to snuff.
Hit by pitch, Griffin Johnson taking one square in the back, so he'll be aboard at first with one out. P.J. Safford to bat now. You know, Safford 1 for 1 today, singled in the third, and came around to score when Glidden knocked him in on a triple. Now batting with a runner on base, looking to continue to make things happen for his squad. Safford talked about it this season, batting .375. That average bumped up a little bit now after the single earlier as he takes a pitch upstairs here. 12 RBI on the team, though. That's good for second most this season. Of course, behind Tilden Kaufman, who has, again, been out and will continue to be out for a few more games for KU. It's a 1-0 count now to Safford. The right-hander settles in, tall batting stance. And the delivery from Hamilton is in the dirt. Takini keeps it in front of him, 2-0. And we've been talking about the catching quite a bit today, and Jacoby Takini has improved quite a bit behind the plate. Feels comfortable back there, even as just a freshman. Has the mechanics of getting down and blocking those balls pretty good. Hardly allows pass balls this season. The 2-0 is fouled off, making it a 2-1 count. With Ryan Glidden waiting on deck. P.J. Safford at the plate. Pretty big gap there on the right side of the infield with Meyer holding the runner at first. And, of course, Cox trying to play a double play depth over there at second. Safford can go the other way if the situation requires him to, as this one is fouled off 2-2. And this is a situation where you'd certainly like to see him try to push one through the gap on the right side of the infield. Corbin Hamilton looks in and comes set. Kicks, delivers. Safford sends one in the air to center field. That's going to get down in front of Douglas, and a single will put 2 runners on for the Pelicans.
Textbook hit.
Yeah, right back where it came from. That's what they teach you. And makes him 2 for 2 today. Johnson again advances to second. Here's Ryan Glidden, who had a big hit last time around. Glidden really squared up a ball, sent it to right center field and over the head into the fence, and wound up with an RBI triple.
You know, that's what you get when you talk about Ryan Glidden, is his hitting ability. His ability on offense, just as a power hitter, has definitely made KU play him more. Ever since he was a freshman, he's been on the team.
That's true. There's been a couple of these guys for KU. You bring up a good point of guys who've been on the team for a long time since they were freshmen, and kind of comparing the two programs. Yes, Henley has had a great program for the last decade plus, but Klamath Union, they're building their own as well with the Overstreets as their coaching staff. Walter, you said you talked to JT before the game. Of course, Michael Overstreet, the head coach, he's been here now. This is his 6th season and has yet to beat the Hornets, but has improved year after year. And this one included a 1-1 count to Glidden. Hamilton comes set, kicks, fires. Glidden takes strike 2. And for Ryan specifically, again, another one of those guys who played baseball with the Klamath Falls Falcons throughout the summer, a good learning experience for the whole team, but Glidden included there. And it looks like he's gotten a little bit bigger since the summer, too. His arms look a little bit more defined, even from what I can see up here. Just a bit stronger, and that helps, too. Here's the 1-2. Checks his swing, but he goes around, and that will be strike 3. Glidden down on strikes, bringing up Reese Johnson.
Reese Johnson is the quarterback of the Pelicans in football, and he's a multi-sport athlete here.
He also plays a little bit of basketball for KU.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah.
He's a hooper. He is.
He's just an athletic kid. He wants to do everything.
And he has the build for it. He's tall, lanky. He can get stuff done.
Move down to first, try to backdoor Safford, but he's back there safely. And for Reese, only a sophomore, time to grow as well. And he's got the frame to put on a good amount of muscle throughout his high school career. I think he'll be a name we talk about for sure for the rest of this season and the next 2 years as well. He's in an 0-2 count right here against Corbin Hamilton. Kicks and fires does Corbin, and swung on and missed. Hamilton gets the best of Johnson this time and sets down the side. 1 base hit for Klamath Union. They can't capitalize, though. They leave 2 stranded. They trail 4-1 as we go to the 4th here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Josh Eldridge and Walter Hartley back with you here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com as we get set for the top of the 4th inning. It's Derek Cox, Ryan Douglas, and Connor Shively due up for Henley. That's 8, 9, and 1 in the order. P.J. Safford still out there on the mound for KU. All things considered, he's throwing pretty well. 3 Klamath Union errors have allowed some of these runs to come across, but just trying to keep things where they are for right now. Certainly, game far from over. So Derek Cox gets ready to step in. He's one of the guys I was talking about earlier who has come up from the JV squad and is trying to solidify himself a role here on the varsity team. See how he does here against Safford. First pitch to him is looked at for a strike. Cox is 0 for 1 today. He hit a ball hard, but right to left field in his first at-bat. Looking for a change of fortunes here. He takes strike 2 on the outside. Safford back to throwing with some confidence here in this inning.
Safford having fun with him.
The 0-2 is in the dirt. Tried to get him to chase with that 0-2 slider in the dirt, but Cox not biting at it. And so
good
count
pitch
moves.
to throw.
Yeah, I think when you're in a 2-strike count, you can afford to try to get a guy to chase a little bit, especially when you're towards the middle or bottom of the order. If there is a break in the Henley order, it's right around here in the 7, 8, 9 spot, but even these guys are good hitters. Now to 2-2 count to Derek Cox. You certainly don't want to allow these guys to get on base for the top of the Henley order, which is, I think, could make a case for the best 1-2-3 punch in the entire state of Oregon, regardless of classification. So it's important for Safford to get these first two guys, but he falls behind in the count now, 3-2, after being up 0-2 to start the at-bat. Here it is to Cox. Ground ball to the left side and into left field, and a leadoff single for Cox. Turned on the inside fastball and hit a hard ground ball right in between the shortstop and the third baseman to get on base there. Here's Ryan Douglas. And Douglas did a great job of proving my point in his last at-bat. He's a speedy kid who doesn't need to hit the ball particularly hard to get on base and beat out an infield single in his first at-bat. Before the first pitch to him, Safford makes a move over to first. Cox slides back safely. We'll see if Henley has anything going on the base paths here. Sean Teeters, the head coach and the third base coach for Henley, offering up some signs before this pitch. Decent lead for Cox off of first, and there he goes. Pitch misses outside. The throw down is not in time. Cox slides into second base safely, and I believe that pitch was called a strike, so it's an 0-1 count to Douglas at the plate. It was an outside fastball. Everett checking the runner over there at second. He'll return to his normal position at second base as that pitch gets behind Mesa Bravo, loses it for a moment. A big turnaround third as Cox will advance on a pass ball. And now close to scoring, still with no outs in the inning, and a 1-1 count to Douglas. Just about any ball in play now will score the runner from third. And not before Coach Overstreet, pitching coach, comes on out and has a discussion with P.J. Safford. Find time to remind you that today's broadcast of Henley Baseball is brought to you in part by the Pacific Power Foundation, who donated nearly $70,000 in 2024 to organizations like the UC Davis Foundation, the Ross Ragland Theater, and the Oregon Tech Foundation.
Josh, you played baseball. Tell me what they talk about out on the mound.
Well, you know, I was never a pitcher. I was always a catcher, and my job was usually to just try to offer up encouragement and listen to what the coach has to say. But typically, at this situation, looks like they brought the infield in, so they're probably talking about what to do on a ground ball hit to any one spot. Do you want to bring the infield in, try to cut down the run? Kind of talking about that. So there you see the infield is in on the cut of the grass. They're going to try to get Cox on a ground ball in the infield and try to throw him out at home or at least stop him from scoring altogether. So
what kind of pitches are you signing to get a ground ball?
Well, you try to keep it low in the zone, and Safford has done a good job at that today. Here's the 1-2. That one was upstairs, but swung on and missed, sends Douglas down on strikes. But Safford has done a good job of keeping the ball low. I mean, most of these outs that he's produced have been ground balls, and so looking to keep that going. One away in the fourth inning. Shively steps in now. Infield remains in for Klamath Union with Cox on third. Here's the pitch to Shively. Shively sends it in the air to center field. Morris having to come in a couple of steps. He'll make the catch. Tagging to score is Cox, and he will make it in. And a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Connor Shively makes it 5-1 Henley.
Great contact, just to the wrong spot.
Well, really, job well done for Connor Shively. You don't get the base hit, but you score the run.
It's true.
Widen up the lead a little bit. And
better than a bunt.
With how good Corbin Hamilton's throwing, any run is a good run at this point in the game. Here's Carpenter now with 2 outs in the inning. Talking about a little friendly rivalry between Safford and Carpenter. Now they get to go straight after each other with no one on base.
Infield shifts over. Look at that.
You always find it interesting when they outlaw stuff in the major leagues, but it still happens at the lower levels of the sport, like the infield shift with 3 guys on the left side of the field.
I think it's cool.
The 1-0. I'd have to disagree with you on that one, Walter.
You don't like it?
I'm a purist. I think that the second baseman should be playing on the right side of the bag. That's just my opinion. But there he is, basically playing shortstop, and the shortstop Glidden is sort of on the cut of the outfield grass, and the third baseman Johnson hugging the line.
I think it adds to the strategy. I think it adds to the mind games. If you're telling a hitter, oh, I don't think you can go the other way, it really motivates him to kind of hit the pitch late. And if you got a pitcher with a high velocity, that's a lot of foul balls.
Well, especially when Safford is trying to pitch Carpenter inside. He's trying to get him to hit into the shift here, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-1 count to Carpenter. He's 0 for 2 today, a couple of flyouts. Safford that time goes outside, and they count 3-1. Yeah, they are trading some words out there, Carpenter and Safford. That's what's great about this game, man, playing against your friends. That's what it's all about. Safford goes with the 3-1. That one is over the heart of the plate, about knee-high to Carpenter, in there to run the count full, and a payoff pitch coming up.
They don't call it America's pastime for nothing.
Yeah. Outfield shaded pretty far to the left as well, playing deep in the 3-2 count. Here's the pitch from Safford. Ground ball the other way.
Wow.
Carpenter goes against the shift and finds his way on base. And a 2-out single will bring up Jacoby Takini. Well, there you go, Walter. What do you think? If the second baseman was in position, does he make that play?
On this team, it's tough to say.
I think you just got to – Carpenter did a good job of going against the shift there, taking that pitch exactly where it was thrown.
Sounded like he was hit off the cap of the bat.
But you get a base hit. It might sting in his hands for now, but you'll look in the stat sheet after. You tell your buddy, I went 1 for 3 off of you, and if we were talking stats, that puts you in the Hall of Fame.
Well, he'd be in the Hall of Fame for sure with his stats.
That's also very true. Carpenter takes off the first pitch to Takini, dives in. He will get in there safely. The throw winds up in center field. Carpenter's going to go for third. He'll get into third, take a big turn around the bag, but he'll stay right there.
That makes me ask, why would you even throw that? He was already there.
I think you can try. I mean, there was a point where if he doesn't slide, you think maybe you can get him. There was a situation earlier where a runner got caught going where they didn't slide. But, again, with the base running that Henley has worked on this year, it's tough to say. Although with 2 outs, you want to get that guy, try to end the inning, I think is the idea there. It's a 1-0 count to Takini, and here's the pitch. That one misses outside, 2-0. So Carpenter steals second and advances on the error to third. And Bo Pyle waits on deck, a 2-0 count to Jacoby Takini. Takini checks his swing on a pitch that misses low. Count moves to 3-0.
Now, I didn't think that swing was any shorter than Ryan Glidden's swings, but that's hearsay.
It's conjecture. The 3-0 misses high, and that should – oh, that's called a strike against Takini. Looked to be about his hands, a tall batting stance for Takini. Thought that might have been up, but he'll have to settle back in a 3-1 count. Pitch from Safford. This time Takini scorches one to shortstop. That's going to get into left. That could roll all the way to the wall. Takini digging for 2. Going to be a close play. The throw in is a wild one, and it allows Takini to get in there. An RBI double scores Mark Carpenter, and Henley leads 6-1.
What a hit.
Yeah, he hit the heck out of that ball. You hit a ball on the ground, and it nearly rolls to the fence. That should be an indication of just how hard that ball was hit. Now, we don't have the Amazon stat tracker like they do in the World Series, but the exit velo on that base hit.
Wow.
I mean, that had to be a scorcher.
He's a big guy. He put all of his body, all of his mass behind that ball.
Yeah, no doubt. Porter Frost comes in to run for Takini out there at second, and here's Bo Pyle. Safford looks at him for a moment, now delivers home. Pyle line drive into center field. They're waving Frost around to score. Morris up with the throw, and there's going to be no throw to the plate. They will stop Pyle from reaching second, so a couple of 2-out base hits lead to 2 Henley runs.
Textbook base hit. Not a base hit at any level.
Hamilton looking to keep the magic going for Henley. As again, that's 3 straight 2-out hits for the Hornets that have scored these runs. It started with a single from Carpenter. Takini followed it up with that double, and now Pyle aboard at first after the single. Here's Corbin. Corbin is 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs. He takes ball 1 here, 1-0, but looking to keep things moving for his team. Next guy up is the attitude right now for Henley. They scored 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 3 more here in this inning. Safford set with the 1-0. Here's the pitch. On the move is Pyle. The pitch misses high. The throw down is not going to be there, and so Pyle swipes second, now into scoring position for Hamilton, and a 2-0 count.
Wow, he really had him. He threw it in time, just wasn't on target.
And Pyle is sneaky quick. He doesn't look like the fastest guy out there, but he is quick. He gets a good read of the pitcher and usually gets a good jump off the bag to steal that base. Not a particularly big lead to speak of off of second, but there's that secondary lead that he does so well. That pitch to Hamilton misses low. It's now 3-0 to the Henley pitcher. Ian Myers on deck. Outfield shaded deep to left and center field. The right fielder, Jones, a couple of steps in. It's not going to matter as Hamilton walks on 4 pitches, and it brings up Ian Meyer. No one up and moving in the bullpen for KU. They're going to try to let Safford escape this jam. And Ian Meyer getting ready to step in.
If you ask me, Safford's the best scenario that you could have on the mound right now. It's not any fault of his. It's just Henley has a good bat.
I think that's certainly true. Like I was saying at the top of the broadcast today, if there's any guy, if you're the Pelicans, if there's any guy you want on the mound to face this Henley lineup, it is P.J. Safford. And, yeah, it's a 7-1 ball game. A handful of these runs are unearned. Klamath Union's committed 4 errors. So it shows a fair bit amount of mental toughness for Safford to try to come out here and still try to make a game of this. And know that even after a few errors, the guys on defense are still out there to try and help you out. He's still inducing these ground balls and throwing good pitches to try to get outs. See if he can find the strike zone again against Meyer. First pitch coming up. Both runners on the move for Henley. The pitch is taken for a strike, and there's no throw to get either runner. So Pyle advances to third. Hamilton advances to second, and it's an 0-1 count to Meyer. Meyer is 0 for 1 today. He did walk in the second, but he reached on an error in the third. Here's the pitch from Safford. Swung on and missed. Now an 0-2 count to Meyer. Chased the upstairs fastball. I've said it once, say it again. That pitch just looks so good coming out of the hand of the pitcher, and then it gets on you, and you realize it's about chin high, and you just chased a pitch that was out of the zone. Here's the 0-2, and Meyer goes down swinging. Safford induces the swing and the miss there. The Hornets down in the 4th inning, but they do score 3 runs. They use 4 base hits to get there, and they leave 2 runners stranded. Score 7-1, heading to the 5th. We'll be back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Josh Eldridge and Walter Hartley back with you here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. Your coverage of Henley baseball continues today. In the bottom of the fourth inning, Henley leads 7-1. And then it's Corbin Hamilton who will go against Jack Everett, Nathan Ferns, and Nolan Baker in this inning. First pitch misses. It's ball one. For Henley so far in the game, 7 runs on 8 hits, no errors. They have left 5 runners on base so far as the 1-0 swung at and missed for Everett. 1-1.
That first pitch looked like it was trying to send a message.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Go ahead.
Here we go for Klamath Union. Just wanted to say 1 run, 3 hits, 4 errors for KU. They've left 4 runners on base at this point in the game. It's a 1-2 count to Everett, who's 0 for 1 today. He struck out back in the first inning. Hamilton throwing well these last couple of innings. It's the 1-2, fouled off. A bit late on the fastball was Everett, but staying alive. Hamilton struck out the last 2 batters in the third inning and has 6 strikeouts in this game so far. Looking for the 1-2 and make it 7 strikeouts as Everett goes down for the second time today. And that will bring up Nathan Ferns. Nathan was also a strikeout casualty back in the second inning. First pitch from Hamilton. That one misses high and in, 1-0. KU trying to get it back to the top of the order. That's where the rallies have begun today. But Ferns, the number 7 hitter in the order, just trying to look to get on base here to try to set the table for guys like Morris, Johnson, and Safford and Glidden, the top 4 guys in the order. Try to get some of these runs back. Here's a ground ball to third. Wow. Winds up over the glove of Carpenter and into left field. That'll be a base hit for Ferns. Took an ugly hop in on the cut of the grass. Not a lot Mark could do to combat that. So that'll be a base hit for Ferns. And that's what I'm talking about for KU. Just get on base. Try to make it a good situation for the guys later on in this inning to try to chip away at this 6-run deficit.
That's a good luck. That was a great hop. That's exactly what you want in a routine ground ball.
Pitch finds the inner third of the plate to Baker. And it's 0-1. Baker walked and was out on the base paths. He tried to steal second to end the second inning. Here's the 0-1. Swings at a pitch in the dirt, and it's 0-2 to Baker.
Great recovery for Takini there. Great footwork. Popped right up.
He's a good catcher back there. Solid. You can rely on him. 1-2 is looked at for strike 3. Baker down on strikes for the second out in the fourth inning, and that will bring up Luis Mesa Bravo. He was also a strikeout casualty in the second inning. Hamilton now at 8 for the game. He's had 2 in every inning so far. Looking for a record 3 here in the fourth. I believe the most strikeouts for Corbin in a game this season is 11.
How many does he have today?
Right now he is at 8. An 0-1 count to Luis Mesa Bravo.
Not bad considering it's the fourth inning.
Here's the pitch. That one is looked at for strike 2. Looked to be the off-speed pitch that time, finding the outside. And Hamilton just 1 strike away from setting down the side.
Great framing from Takini there.
That one misses outside. 1-2. Yeah, Takini does a great job of just framing it up nicely enough to steal a couple strikes per game for his pitchers, and that's exactly what you want for your catcher. Here's the 1-2 again. Swung on and missed, and there it is. 3 strikeouts here in the fourth inning. Sandwiched in there was Nathan Ferns' single, but Klamath Union can't capitalize in the fourth. They still trail 7-1 heading to the fifth after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses. all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Top of the fifth inning in a 7-1 ball game. Henley leading Klamath Union at this point. And in the top of the fifth, it'll be Chase Barrett, Derek Cox, and Ryan Douglas. Barrett in hitting for Carson Pimley, who exits the game after a 0-for-2 performance thus far. He reached on a fielder's choice and then struck out, but now it's up to Chase Barrett.
Now explain to the fans at home what you mean by fielder's choice.
So fielder's choice would be a guy gets on base via someone else getting out in the field. So if I'm looking back to Pimley's fielder's choice, it was Ian Meyer who walked before him. And then Pimley hit what was likely a ground ball, I think it was, and so they got Meyer out, but they did not get Pimley out. So there's your fielder's choice to get the lead runner.
All right, batter looking like he wants to hit a bunt here, which is kind of weird to me. There's no one on base, but he must be relying on his speed.
He is pretty quick. He's, aside from getting a couple at bats here, they've used Chase as a pinch runner and a courtesy runner, and so he's comfortable out there on the base paths right now in a 2-2 count.
Stays alive.
So 7, 8, 9 in the Henley order. They'll try to get on base for the top of the lineup, which has been lethal today. Swung on and missed. Down goes Barrett for the first out in the fifth inning. We were talking about Corbin Hamilton's strikeout total in the last half inning. He's at 9 now. P.J. Safford, for his part, that was his fourth strikeout of the day. It's Derek Cox will take a strike high. This actually looks like Max Price is back in the order.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's good to see because he had been out for the last few games for Henley. He was out with an injury for a few games, came back. I believe it was when he played KU back on April 3rd that Price then got hurt again and missed the next few games. So good to see him getting a couple of hacks here against P.J. Safford right now in a 1-2 count.
It's always hard in an injury. It really throws off your rhythm. Everyone else on the team is gaining so much experience, and you're sitting on the sideline, and when you actually do get back in, you're rusty. Okay, that's 2-2.
Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back, and the count remains 2-2.
Thank goodness for the net.
Yeah, we thank the net quite a bit up here in the box at Kiger. Otherwise, we'd have to bring our glove to the box up here. 2-2 the count to Price. Again, he's hitting for Cox, who finished 1 for 2 today. Pitch, line drive, hard to right, bending, foul.
Oh.
Just foul down the line. That was certain to be extra bases for Price.
Tough break.
So instead, it's just a loud strike, and Price stays alive in this at-bat.
We'll see if Stafford goes to his signature slider here.
Right up the middle, and Stafford had to get out of the way of that one as it winds up in center field.
Good reflexes.
Yeah, just trying to get out of the way of that one. A one-out hit will allow Max Price to reach first. Seemingly no rust at all for the young man with a single in his first at-bat back. And this will bring up Ryan Douglas. Now, Douglas is 1 for 2 today. He singled in the second inning. He struck out in the fourth.
Price said, all right, my base hit doesn't count. I'll just hit another one.
Move over to first. Ferns had to dig that one out of the dirt to keep it in front of him, but back safely at first is Price. Pretty significant lead off of first base for Max as well. He keeps the feet moving, and there he goes. Pitch misses high. The throw down is also going to be high, which allows Price to slide under the tag. A bit of a late throw as well as Price steals second, gets into scoring position for Douglas, and the lineup card turns over next for Henley with Connor Shively waiting on deck. And again, that lead out there for Price at second. He keeps his feet moving, takes a half a step back towards the bag. Nothing doing this time as Safford fires in strike one, evening the count with one out in the fifth. Again, these two teams will match up again this weekend on Saturday in a doubleheader over at Henley High School, and that will wrap up the season series between the Pels and the Hornets. Safford delivers the 1-1. That pitch will miss high, 2-1. Klamath Union, while they've improved this season, they've improved mightily, still looking for that ever-elusive win against the Hornets. They haven't actually beaten Henley since 2017.
Who has?
That's also very true. Here's the 2-1. That one misses high, 3-1. In that time, Henley has won, I believe, all but two conference titles, finishing top of the league. They've lost one to Mazama and one to Hidden Valley, and really it's been Henley and Hidden Valley at the top of the conference for, well, the better part of a decade. At least the last 12 years, either Henley or Hidden Valley has won the conference. And I mentioned Mazama in there. They were co-champions a season ago, but they were co-champions with Hidden Valley. So there you go. That's still them getting a conference championship. 3-1 the count to Douglas, and that pitch will miss. It's in the dirt as well, so as Douglas takes his free pass to first, Max Price will advance to third. And that will bring up Connor Shively. We're talking about Shively and his league-leading statistics. Shively leads the league in stolen bases. We talked about that a little bit earlier in the game, but he is fifth in the conference in batting average. He is third in the conference in hits.
If I'm Henley, I'm getting in a pickle to send the third baseman home.
You know, you'll see him do it quite a lot, but oftentimes, we'll see what Klamath Union, if they've discussed it, what you try to do to try to cut off that runner from scoring. Maybe throw a hard ball back to the pitcher or have the shortstop cut it off. And there they go. There's that pickle you were talking about. Safford stepped off, and Douglas tried to move.
He's going home.
And they tag the runner out at first. No, he slid in under the tag as the throw to first was made. Price is going to score. And the Klamath Union dugout taking some exception with the call over at first. Coach Overstreet may have a gripe with this one. It looked like if the tag came, it would have come down on the helmet of Douglas. And we'll see. Coach Overstreet trying to argue his case. This time, nothing is going to change. Henley leads now 8-1. Douglas is safe at first. Shively still at the plate. And unsure if that was a warning issued to the KU dugout. At this point, probably warranted, but a lead off of first for Douglas. Douglas takes off, pitch, finds the zone inside. The throw is going to take Glidden off the base at second. And so in without a slide is Douglas. And it's an 0-1 count to Shively. Didn't get to talk about it too much, but that was a good pitch from Safford going in against the lefty.
We've seen this about 1,000,000 times from Henley here.
Just taking that second base.
Yes, sir.
Taking advantage of the younger catcher for Klamath Union behind the plate. They think they can run, so they're just going to keep on doing it. as this one is fouled off towards the left side. The count 0-2 to Connor Shively. Safford nearing his pitch count limit. Limit is 110. I believe once you get there, you can finish that at bat. But right now he's at 105, so looking to try to potentially escape this fifth inning. Otherwise, Klamath Union will have to make a move. Here's the 0-2, and that one is hit in the air, left field. Baker moving over towards the line, battling the sun, makes the catch. And that's 2 away in the fifth, bringing up Mark Carpenter. So got that out that he was looking for and going to try to end the inning against Carpenter. Potentially, we'll see. Mike Overstreet up out of the dugout here. We'll see if the Pelicans are making a change a few pitches early. And they are taking the ball from P.J. Safford. So we're going to have some changes made for Klamath Union. We'll let them decide what's going on. It looks like Glidden is coming in to pitch to try to finish out the fifth inning. So aside from that, we'll get you some other changes when we come back, but we're going to step aside right now in an 8-1 ball game. Henley leads Klamath Union here on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
I'm so
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face. I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
So Ryan Glidden is going to be the new pitcher for Klamath Union.
the only senior on the team.
Yeah, and he's going to be replacing P.J. Safford. I believe P.J. is going to come back and play some defense. Just has to get the right equipment out there, and he's going to be ready to go. So no other changes other than Glidden and Safford switching spots at shortstop and pitcher. It's going to be up to Glidden to try to set down Mark Carpenter. There's 2 outs in the fifth inning, and already 1 run across this inning for Henley, and they've got 1 more out there at second base.
Ryan's been playing with Mark forever, so it's going to be interesting to see how this battle goes down.
Yeah, another matchup between 2 Falcons.
Not only that, Little League.
Yeah.
I played on both of their teams in Little League. Yeah.
Here's the first pitch. Misses high and in.
Says, I'm not afraid.
It's a good message to send. Glidden comes with a little bit of a harder fastball, but the trick for Glidden is controlling the strike zone. And that's where the struggle has been for the senior right-hander. If he can find his way in the zone, which he does there on the 1-1 count, he's as good as anyone in the conference. Just finding that strike zone has been the inconsistency for him this season. 1-1, the count to Carpenter, who is 1 for 3 today. He flew out in the first and second inning, and he singled in the fourth. Here's the pitch. This time has to scoot out of the way. Kicks away from Mesa Bravo, and that will allow Douglas to advance to third, and it is a 2-1 count to Carpenter. And we'll see if there's anything on as Coach Teeters comes and has a conversation with Mark, heads back to the batter's box. I don't think you're going to have Mark bunt here with a 7-run lead, 2 outs and a runner at third, but we'll see if there's anything else going on here. 2-1. Carpenter sends one high, deep to left field. That's going to be short of the fence and short of the warning track. Baker underneath it to make the catch. Henley adds a run, though, in this inning on one base hit. They leave a runner stranded, and again, they lead 8-1 as we go to the bottom half of the fifth next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Our coverage of Henley baseball continues today on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. I'm Josh Eldridge. Thank you for being here today. Walter Hartley along with me. Enjoying a nice day at the ball field today, Walter?
Yes, sir. It's great weather. It's very temperate. Sun's out. Great day for sports.
Corbin Hamilton still on the hill for Henley. He'll go up against the top of the KU order here. It's Maruk Morris, Griffin Johnson, and P.J. Safford. First delivery on the way here from Hamilton, fouled back to count 0-1. Morris 0 for 2 today, a fly out and a ground ball in the first and third innings. Looking to get on base here in the fifth. Hamilton kicks, fires in ball ball one. It's a even count for Morris. Outfield in a couple of steps on the right side for Henley, anticipating Morris to try to pull. And this time Hamilton throws an outside pitch that Morris chases. So down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
Reached for it.
That slider from Corbin can certainly get a right-hander off balance and chasing out of the zone. That one is going to ring him up. Down looking is Morris. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Hamilton dating back to the 4th inning, and I believe that's 10 total for him on the game. Pardon me, that's 9 strikeouts for him, so 1 away from 10. And here's Griffin Johnson, who struck out back in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third. Here he takes strike 1. Well, Hamilton certainly has a lot of confidence out there right now. Here he comes again with the 0-1. That one misses outside to Johnson. Count is even.
The ump's been loving the outside of the plate this game, so we'll see if Hamilton can hit it.
He has given about an inch or so off the plate and in the plate. Not so much up and down in the zone. He's been pretty tight going up and down, but going left to right, he's given pitchers the benefit of the doubt there. Up to the hitters now to try and adjust to that. It's a 1-2 count to Johnson. And Hamilton got to make sure the belt is done out there. I think they required him to tuck in his shirt. It was coming undone a little bit in the front. And they're very particular about what pitchers are and are not allowed to do and wear and all that stuff out there on the mound. You can't wear any jewelry. You can't paint your face at all. Can't wear anything on your wrists. Have to have your shirt tucked in as he fires in a fastball to Johnson, and he chases out of the zone for the second strikeout here in the fifth. 2 outs now for P.J. Safford. P.J. is 2 for 2 today. He started as the pitcher for KU, now finds himself at shortstop defensively. But a couple of singles and a run scored for him, trying to get a 2-out rally going here in the fifth. Here's the pitch from Hamilton. Safford believe he got a piece of that one, fouled it off. The count 0-1. After Safford in the order, it's Ryan Glidden. Those two guys got a rally started in the first, scored Klamath Union's only run of the ball game so far. Safford at the time with a 2-out single, followed by a Glidden triple, scored him. And so hoping for a little more 2-out magic. Can Safford get it started? This time he takes a pitch in. There's that pitch about an inch off the inside of the plate. Safford not thrilled with it, but he also was getting those calls on the other end. So he settles back in now in an 0-2 count. This time he takes a pitch high, no question that was out of the zone. The count moves now to 1-2 to PJ. Hamilton doing well on the pitch count here in the 5th inning. This will be pitch number 79 for him. Here's the throw. That's a ground ball towards short. Shively moving over, and that goes underneath his glove and into left field.
Huge error.
A 2-out error extends the inning.
And that ruins Henley's streak of 0 errors coming to the 5th.
Ryan Glidden now stepping up. Yeah, usually short-handed out there at short, but every so often a routine ground ball will get to you. And that time Shively unable to get the job done, and it extends the inning for Glidden, who was starting at short, now finds himself pitching. The exact opposite of P.J. Safford, but they've worked well. Like I said, back in that first inning, responsible for the only one. Glidden, I'm sure, would love to hit a ball as well as he did again back in the first inning. Really got a hold of that one.
Anyone would.
Hamilton set with the 0-1. Glidden waves and misses at the off-speed pitch. The count now 0-2. Aside from that triple, Glidden went down on strikes in the 3rd inning. Safford, a modest lead off of first, about 3 steps off the bag. Hamilton not even taking a look at him as he delivers home. That pitch misses wide, 1-2.
Now, I'd like to see the stats on the home runs hit on this field because they have a pretty deep center field here.
Straightaway center field, that's tough to get out anyway, but 325 down either line, you will see some get out over the top of there, and especially during the summertime, balls get out of here in a hurry.
Is that because it's warmer? There's more pop?
Warmer for sure, yeah. The cold slows down the ball a little bit, plus a little bit more wind throughout the season, too, and the wind usually blows out towards the outfield here at Kiger, so that sometimes you can catch a wind stream and really send one a long ways out to the Pepsi parking lot across the way.
Not sponsored by Pepsi. It's just an actual
not yet,
Pepsi
not yet
lot.
anyway.
Yeah.
3-2 to Ryan Glidden. And the first baseman, Meyer, not holding Safford at first, just trying to play straight away. Safford on the move, that pitch in the dirt, and so he'll wind up standing in at second as the walk allows him to advance, and Ryan Glidden aboard at first. So a couple 2-out base runners for the Klamath Union Pelicans brings up Reese Johnson. Now, Johnson is 0 for 1 today. He did walk back in the first, but since then he struck out in the 3rd.
Klamath Union seems to be the team of 2-out rallies this game at least.
Well, trying to cash in on one here. They've left him on base throughout most of the game. 5 runners left on base for KU at this point. They've gotten him on okay, but you got to do the rest, and that's getting him over and getting him in. First pitch to Johnson was called a strike. Hamilton now set with the 0-1 and delivers. That one misses outside, trying to backdoor the runner at first. The throw winds up over the head of Meyer and down the right field line. Safford advances to 3rd. They're going to try to wave him into score, and he'll do so standing. Glidden advances to 2nd, so an errant throw from the catcher allows Safford to come in and score. It's now an 8-2 ball game.
It was kind of fun to see Coach JT there saying, "Get on your horse." He threw it off.
Yeah. I was thought that throw would have been playable for Meyer, but just wound up airmailing that one. Here it is fouled, and a 1-2 count now to Johnson. Still with a runner in scoring position, and Glidden, he could be quick out there, so a base hit, regardless of where it is, could wind up scoring him. And again, at this point in the game, you don't necessarily expect to get back all 6 runs, but just trying to chip away to make it a winnable for you in the late innings. Swing and a miss for Johnson, and that will do it here in the 5th. Corbin Hamilton strikes out 3 batters, but a couple of Henley errors allow 1 run to come in and score. As we go to the 6th, it is 8-2 Henley. Here on 104.3 and 960 Sports, mybasin.com. We'll be back.
It starts to warm up outside. It's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Ready to go in the 6th inning here from Kiger Stadium on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. 8-2 the score here as we get things going for Henley so far. 8 runs on 9 hits. 2 errors. They've left 6 runners on base. For Klamath Union, 2 runs on 4 hits, 4 errors. The Pelicans have left 6 runners on base to this point. It's Jacoby Tacchini, Bo Pyle, and Corbin Hamilton here in the 6th inning as Ryan Glidden enters his 2nd inning of work out there. Here he misses with the pitch high, 1-0. Looking at Tacchini so far today, he is 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Also came around to score in the 4th inning. He grounded out in the 3rd.
I noticed that KU...
Tacchini sends one deep to left center field. That's going to go 1 hop, 2 hop off the wall. Tacchini digging for extra bases. He's going to wind up at second standing. A leadoff double is a great way to start the inning for Henley. Tacchini now at 2 doubles today and 3 for 4. That's a fine day for the young man as Porter Frost comes in to run for him, as is customary for the Hornets. This brings up Bo Pyle, who is 2 for 3.
So I noticed that KU, they're wearing some of those wrist play bands that QBs would wear sometimes. That makes me wonder, what do you need to know out there playing defense that you couldn't memorize from practice?
I think mostly, from what I understand, most of those are for when you're at bat or on base. The coach is giving you signs, and you got a little cheat sheet for the signs there on your wrist. That's what I recall using those for when I played baseball. We used to give out numbers as signs. The third base coach would say like 1, 3, 4 or something along those lines. Okay, what does that coordinate to on your wrist pad? Now, Coach Teeters, on the other hand, for Henley, he likes to do, the tap-in of the shoulder and the hat and the giving you the traditional baseball signs. So that's why you don't see a lot of the Henley guys out there wearing it. It's a 1-1 count to Bo Pyle. Again, Pyle singled home a run in his last at-bat, 2 for 3 today. After him on deck is Corbin Hamilton. The 1-1 is hit weakly in the air, staying in the infield. Ferns, the first baseman, calls everybody off to make the catch for the first out.
So what's typical? How many signs are typical for a batter to know? Because what I know is there's usually a bunting sign, and that's about it.
You have steal, hit and run, things like that. I mean, it really depends on how intricate you want to make it. I'm sure Henley has quite a few contingencies and things they like to do on the base paths. For Klamath Union, I'm not entirely too certain how much base running is what the focal point is in practice instead of, hitting in defense and some of the things that the younger players are trying to come along to. Like I said, for Henley a season ago, the only real thorn in their side was the mental mistakes while running the bases. But if you really work on that in practice, which it seems Henley has, you might add a couple new signs in there just to try to get on the same page. But it's something that they've really improved on this year.
What's the sign for hitting a home run?
Yeah, I'd take that one more often than not. It's a 1-1 count to Corbin Hamilton. Runner at second is Porter Frost. P.J. Safford, the shortstop, trying to hold him honest there. The pitch home is in the dirt. Rounds up, not getting past Mesa Bravo, just not in his glove. So in the time he needs to pick it up, Porter Frost is going to go ahead and advance to third. As Corbin Hamilton just putting the ball in play here, we'll get that run back that they surrendered in the bottom of the 5th. Infield comes in, though, for KU. They're going to try to cut down the lead runner on a ground ball in the infield. Hamilton's going to try to get underneath the pitch, send it in the air to the outfield, will produce a sacrifice fly. Here's the 2-1. That one bounces to the plate, but Mesa Bravo that time being the backstop that the Pelicans need him to be and keeping the runner right where he is over at third. It's a 3-1 count, though, to Hamilton.
Say what you want about the pass balls getting past Mesa. He's held it where it matters. He's made it count.
Hasn't allowed, I think, only one run to score on a pass ball. Here's the pitch to Hamilton. Swung on and missed, and the count runs full now for Corbin as he settles back in. Corbin looking for a repeat of last time these teams played when he was 2 for 4. Here he grounds one to third. Third baseman Johnson goes home. The tag applied, and the runner is out. Porter Frost trying to score. In the meantime, though, Hamilton does reach on a fielder's choice, and so he is aboard with 2 outs, and that will bring up Ian Meyer. And a good job by the Klamath Union infield to make that play. I think if you were to redo that for Henley, you probably don't send Porter Frost to try to score on a ground ball hit hard to the third baseman. But they send him anyway, and Klamath Union able to get the out. Here's the first pitch to Meyer. Hamilton on the move from first. It's a called strike at the plate, and the throw is going to be a little bit wide right, allowing Hamilton to advance to second with 2 away. And again, pitch called a strike to Meyer, so it's 0-1 to Ian. He has walked, reached on an error, and struck out so far today.
Henley following their game plan against KU. Send him to second.
Get in scoring position and score some runs. On the move to third is Hamilton. No throw down. And another stolen base for Henley in this game. They feel like they can do whatever they want out there on the base paths, and so far, no one's proved them wrong.
And they can.
Meyer in a 1-1 count. Glidden comes set. From the stretch still, that looked to be an off-speed pitch that missed upstairs. The count 2-1. After Meyer in the order, I believe it's going to be Chase Barrett. Glidden comes set, looks the runner back at third, delivers the 2-1. That came in and got Meyer right on the front knee. That does not feel good. But what feels great is getting on base with 2 outs. So he'll take that, and Chase Barrett steps into the box. That's the second hit batter of the game. And
that cannot feel good, especially from a high velo pitcher like Ryan Glidden.
So runners at the corners. It's Meyer at first, Hamilton at third. And here's Chase Barrett, who is 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the 5th inning. Glidden comes set. Ready to deliver the pitch. That one is low, bounces away from Mesa Bravo, and there's Hamilton diving across the plate safely. That run comes in to score, making it 9-2. Henley here in the 6th inning. Bouncing away from the catcher, allowing the run to score. Not only did the run score, but Ian Meyer moved up to second as well. A 1-0 count, a runner in scoring position for the young Chase Barrett. Chase was not even a part of the varsity team when these two teams met back on April 3rd. Like I said, has been with the JV squad, but this program really likes to move guys up and down throughout the year. Here he takes one the other way. That's going to get down into right field. Meyer getting on his horse and coming in to score on an RBI single, and that makes it 10-2. Great job. Again, Henley has been very willing today to go the other way on these at-bats. An outside pitch, and Barrett sends it into right field for an RBI single. And here is Max Price. We talked about Price a little bit. He had missed a fairly considerable amount of the season. Came back for his first at-bat earlier in this game and had a single. And so 1 for 1 since his return.
I mean, looking at this Henley team, you can just tell that they're so experienced.
It really is interesting to watch how loose kind of Henley carries themselves for being such a winning ball club compared to some of the other teams that might be a little bit more tense in the conference, as Ryan Glidden looks like his day is done, and it looks like we might get a dose of Reese Johnson coming in to pitch. We'll make sure that's the only change as we take a break here on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Henley leads 10-2 with a couple of runners on base. When we come back, it'll be Reese Johnson here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Reese Johnson up here for Klamath Union, coming in relief of Ryan Glidden. Let's see about the changes for KU here. So Reese Johnson comes in from third to pitch.
And he's certainly got the length to pitch for sure.
Well, he's got the arm strength too. I mean, for a guy who plays quarterback, it's you like to see him throw a few heaters in there. So Glidden is going to stay in the game. He's going to move over to short. P.J. Safford from short now to third. And so there you go on the changes for KU. Everything else stays the same. Everett at second, Ferns at first, Baker in left, Morrison center, Jones in right, and Meza Bravo still catching.
Speaking of Reese Johnson, I've seen him sling a ball when I was doing the football games. I've seen him sling a ball 50 yards, 45, 50 yards, right in the zone. So he's got the power and the accuracy to be a great pitcher.
Here he misses it low. Ball kicks away from the catcher, and Barrett will advance to third.
Kind of jinxed him on that one, didn't I?
Well, you see, one pitch in. I give it a little credit here. He's still got some time to get used to things, but you see a lot of the great quarterbacks are also very good pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even guys who are in the NFL are also pretty decent pitchers. I mean, Kyler Murray for
Russell Wilson.
the Arizona Cardinals, Russell Wilson. How about Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all these guys pitched throughout high school, some of them in college.
That's a little bit of kind of what we see from Mahomes.
2-1 is hit deep to right in the gap. Jones makes the catch, and that will end the inning. Henley does score 2 runs, and they use 2 base hits to do it. They leave a runner stranded, but they lead 10-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside. It's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Pal's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
6-7-8 in the Klamath Union order due up in the 6th inning. That's Jack Everett, Nathan Ferns, Nolan Baker, as Henley leads the Pelicans here in this inning. A score of 10-2. Corbin Hamilton still on the mound for Henley. He's pitched well, 12 strikeouts for him this point in the game. Keeping the pitch count. Yeah, keeping the pitch count down too.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You're exactly right. He is throwing extremely well. Here's a foul ball.
Ooh. Worst of both worlds. Got hit and didn't get his base.
Yeah, he fouled it off. Looked like the inside of his knee.
Ooh. Seeing how, what was it, Carson Sims fractured his wrist from the ball, you do not want to get hit in the knee.
Hamilton in an 0-1 count, getting ready to deliver to Everett. And the pitch.
Oh.
That one hit him, so I guess there it is.
Ah.
Does not feel good.
That sounded awful.
That will bring up Nathan Ferns.
I've seen players get the wind knocked out of them from a pitch in the wrong spot. What's his name? Taking his time on the mound. Looking to throw against, who's that?
Nathan Ferns.
Nathan Ferns.
Takes an 0-2 strike there. Ferns is 1 for 2 today. Singled and struck out in the second and fourth innings.
Good first baseman.
Here's a pitch. Rolls it off his foot as well. Boy, KU is having no luck.
2 in a row.
Yeah, that does not feel great. Might have caught him a little bit higher than his foot there on the inner part of the leg as well. Boy, that's want to wish Ferns the best there. Both coaches coming over and talking to him. Umpire's got to clean off the plate. Anything you can do to give this man a little time out there, we'll do. So in the meantime, we'll take some time too. How about reminding you that today's game is brought to you in part by Klamath Falls Subaru. They've donated thousands of dollars to dozens of hometown charities through the Subaru Love Promise and Subaru Share the Love events. Down here on Washburn Way, stop by and say hi with Klamath Falls Subaru. All right, so it looks like Ferns is doing as best he can here with an 0-2 count.
That's why you always wear a cup, folks.
The pitch, yes, is taken for ball outside, 1-2 to Ferns. Then Baker is on deck. Swung on and missed. Down on strikes goes Ferns for the second time today. So now in steps, I believe that's Luis Mesa Bravo down there. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts today. No, pardon me. That is Nolan Baker. We had a little bit of issue where their numbers got switched pregame, and I just popped back into my head there. So there's Nolan Baker. He is 0 for 1 today. He walked in the second, and he struck out in the fourth. Pitch finds the zone 1-2. Again, aboard at first is Jack Everett, reached on after being hit by a pitch. And so Baker looking to get on base as well, try to help out the team get back into this game. Again, a 10-2 ball game. That was Corbin Hamilton's 100th pitch. So nearing that limit here in the sixth inning. Limit again, like we said earlier, is 110. Here's the 2-2. Pitch misses down 3-2. After Baker, it is Luis Mesa Bravo, who we had thought was hitting, but he is actually on deck.
Do you expect Henley to take him out or to keep him throwing?
Well, they're going to probably go give him up to his limit, I would imagine, as here's a walk issued to Baker, allowing Everett to move up to second. Probably say let Corbin reach his limit and then find a way to try to get the final 3 outs with one of the guys you'll throw on Saturday. Again, a doubleheader coming up for Henley on Saturday. So you want to make sure that guys like Bo Pyle and Mark Carpenter can eat up a bunch of innings on Saturday. So you got to be kind of tricky. That's the tricky part about pitch counts in high school baseball. And when you get down to the postseason, that's really where it becomes important. Having good pitching depth, which Henley does, is really what's going to win you ball games in the state tournament. A 1-0 count now to Luis Mesa Bravo as the fastball from Hamilton missed low. 2 on and 1 out for Klamath Union.
Now, I've noticed that in the MLB, sometimes they put position players into pitch just because they're losing so badly.
Right.
Do they ever do that in high school baseball?
Well, most of the time, guys can do everything, right? We've seen, for KU, for example, they're the only team that's made pitching changes. You'll see Safford, who started the game pitching, move out to shortstop. Guy who was playing shortstop, Glidden, comes into pitch. So really, it's everyone does every job, or at least every job that they can at the high school level. Now, you start to specialize when you get into college. You won't see the two-way players too often. So the 1-2 is looked at for ball 2. Thought it might have been strike 3 to the KU catcher, but given a new berth here, I think 2-2.
Looks strike to me.
So you'll see guys do pretty much everything. When Corbin's not pitching, he's playing first base or he's playing right field. So
right.
Here's a fly ball foul. In a way, he already is a position player pitching, although I'd be curious to see what he considers himself more. Does he consider himself a first baseman? Does he consider himself a pitcher who also plays first base? Be an interesting conversation for all three of Henley's starting pitchers, really. It's a 2-2 count to Luis Mesa Bravo. That one's right down Main Street. Strike 3 called, and that will bring up Maruk Morris.
You cannot look that one by. That was a meatball.
In a 2-strike count, yeah, that's a great pitch to swing at. Maruk Morris is 0 for 3 today. He's got the trifecta, a fly out, ground out, and a strikeout in the first, third, and fifth innings. Here he bats with 2 on and 2 out.
Come on, Goldilocks. Let's see one just right.
Here's the first pitch to Morris. Misses wide, 1-0. So there was Corbin about to throw pitch 110. This will be the last batter he can face this ball game. He'll hope to get out of the inning. Here's the 1-0. Fouled off, 1-1. If you can get this batter, you put yourself in a great position to bring in someone to just try to close out the 7th inning and potentially be available, like I was saying, for the Saturday doubleheader between these two teams, which will be over at Henley High School. 1-1, Hamilton kicks and fires. Here's a fly ball in the infield. Coming in is Max Price. He'll make the catch and end the inning. The Pelicans leave a couple guys stranded. No base hits in the inning, and they trail 10-2 as we go to the top of the 7th. And 104.3 and 960 Sports.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Top of the 7th inning, and Henley leads Klamath Union 10-2 in this Skyline Conference affair. The Hornets looking to remain perfect in Skyline Conference play, and a couple of insurance runs here will certainly help them. Already up by 8, but any extra runs are good. Ryan Douglas, Connor Shively, Mark Carpenter, the men do up this half. That is 9-1-2 in the Henley order against Reese Johnson. Johnson coming in relief of Ryan Glidden, who himself is coming in relief of P.J. Safford. Here's the pitch from Johnson. That misses in. Johnson a little bit lower of an arm angle, kind of slings those pitches in there. That differs from Safford and Glidden, who give you the more traditional over-the-top delivery on the mound. But Johnson,
he's used to putting a spiral on it.
Yeah, he does sling it in there. Here's a pitch that is hit high in the air, foul behind third base. Count now 1-1. Talked a little bit about the upcoming schedule for Henley. Of course, the Saturday doubleheader I continue to allude to. We will have a broadcast for that one on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. After that doubleheader against Klamath Union, Henley is off for the full week ahead. The 1-1 is hit shallow right. Back is the second baseman Everett to make the catch for the first out in the 7th inning. As in steps Connor Shively. Yeah, Henley plays Saturday. They won't play again until the following Saturday when they meet Junction City, and that is certain to be a good doubleheader. Junction City, last I checked, was still in the top 10 ranking in the state of Oregon, so a chance for Henley to solidify their spot in the top 10 rankings if they're able to come away with 1 or 2 wins against the team from Junction City. A swing and a miss for Shively on the first pitch in this at-bat, down in the count 0-1. Shively had a sacrifice fly and an RBI in the 4th inning, also added an RBI single in the 2nd. But in his previous at-bat, flew out to left field. He takes ball 1 here, now even in the count.
KU is playing well against Henley today.
All things considered, you'd say they're down by 8 runs, but all things considered, we were kind of chatting about it in the press box here. Last handful of times these teams have played, Henley's gotten done in 5 innings. And triggered the mercy rule, but Klamath Union, they've scored some runs, they've made a few good plays, and they are still trying to get this game to go through full regulation. Here's a hard fly ball deep to center field. Leaping to make the catch in center is Maruk Morris. Got to give credit to the young man out there. Had to spin around and jump to make the catch for the second out.
That's 2 up, 2 down for Reese Johnson here.
Now it's Mark Carpenter. Carpenter's 1 for 4 today, a single in the 4th. Otherwise, he's flown out 3 times. He's gotten a hold of the ball pretty well all 3 times. But
what is this, the 3rd, 4th time he's gotten up with 2 outs?
Yeah, that's a good point. He has hit mostly with 2 outs. Ever since the 1st inning, he's been hitting with 2 outs. First pitch misses low to him, 1-0. And again, with the bases empty as well, much like he was in his previous at-bat in the 5th inning. The 1-0. Finds the zone, 1-1.
The ump really likes that outside there.
Even if it is a little bit off the plate, the one thing I always look for in an umpire is consistency, and he's been consistent about that outer third and a little bit off the plate all game long, so it's been there. Hitters have been taking it. But, for Carpenter, even that one single that he had earlier, it was an outside pitch that he hit the other way and was able to turn it into a single. Here Klamath Union is in the shift again. Here's the 2-1. Outside pitch. Carpenter hits that one deep the other way. Going back is Jones. That one is over the wall. Carpenter, an Oppo home run.
Wow.
There it is. Exactly what we were talking about. You won't see that too often from Mark, but got every bit of that baseball going about 360 feet to right center field, and an 11-2 ball game. That's Carpenter's 2nd home run of the season. Puts him tied for the conference lead in that metric, and his team up 9.
Wow.
That looked gone off the bat, but I was hesitant to call it since it was opposite field. I didn't know if Carpenter has added that to his game, the opposite field strength. I like it. Here's the pitch to Jacoby Takini. He's another guy with pop in his bat. Of course, talked about the league leader in RBI, but home run for him this season, too. That was a lot earlier in the year, but he's a guy who's got some power. Here's the 0-1 to him. Misses wide, 1-1. So far in this game, Takini is 3 for 4, 2 doubles and a single. He's also grounded out. Scored a run, or I suppose Porter Frost scored a run in the 4th inning once Takini got on base, of course, with the courtesy runner. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one misses high and in, 2-1. After Takini in the Henley order, it's Bo Pyle. If you're curious for Klamath Union, who it is due up to try to break into this 9-run deficit, it's going to be, I believe, Johnson, Safford, and Glidden. That's 2, 3, 4 in the Pelican order who's going to try to get something started. Right now, a 2-2 count to Jacoby Takini with 2 outs in the 7th. Here's the delivery from Johnson, misses outside, and the count is full.
Not a bad starting lineup, or not a bad lineup to start the bottom of the ninth.
Well, I'd say if you want runs, it's that top middle of the order for Klamath Union to try to get the job done. Those have been the guys who've been getting on base today, and I'll be curious to see who Henley comes with to pitch in the next inning, with Corbin Hamilton having reached his limit as Takini chases an elevated fastball, ends the inning on strike 3, but not before Carpenter sends one over the right field fence and adds a run for the Hornets. They lead 11-2. Looks like we're going to see a little max price for the Hornets when we come back here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Here we go, back in the bottom of the 7th inning for Klamath Union. Due up, looks like it'll be Griffin Johnson, P.J. Safford, Ryan Glidden in the 7th inning, and a little max price on the hill for Henley. He'll come in relief of Corbin Hamilton, who pitched the first 6 innings, would be on the line for the win today if this lead holds. Otherwise, a couple of changes for Henley around the diamond. Price was playing second, and so everyone else pretty much shifts over a position. So the entire infield is in a new order. We'll have Hamilton, who exits pitching. He goes to first. Shively, who was at shortstop, now over to second. Carpenter, who was at third, now over at short. And Meyer, who was at first, is now at third.
Wow. Just giving them reps at different positions.
I think most of it was to keep everybody in the lineup. You could probably make a case that Henley might not get another at-bat this game if they look to close things out here. But having a strong arm like Carpenter at short is good. Meyer's comfortable at third. And Connor Shively, well, second base is a little bit different there from short, but he's got a good bit of experience there in the middle infield. Here's the pitch from Price. Misses outside. The count is 1-0. Well, to be able to take a look at the numbers for Price on the season, I haven't actually seen him pitch in the league games this year because he's been kind of in and out with the injuries. It looks like this, I believe only his second or third appearance this year, looks like.
Yeah. He's only faced 30 batters. So, he's only thrown 121 pitches this season. So, it looks like he played maybe once.
ERA up around 6.1, but like we're talking about, small sample size for Max, so he's going to try to limit things here. Right now, though, in a 3-1 count against Johnson, who is 0 for 2 today, struck out twice. He was also hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning.
That's not Griffin.
Oh, pardon me, that's not Griffin Johnson. It looks like it's Donovan Jones, who had started the game being designated hit for, but getting the bat here in the 7th. Apologize there for Jones. It is him up at the plate. Fouls it off there.
Stays alive. Full count.
Here's the 3-2 on its way from Price. That one is low, and a leadoff walk issued to Jones. P.J. Safford stepping in now. Safford 2 for 3 today. And 2 runs scored. He singled in the first and third innings, reached on an error in the fifth, but he did come around to score. So, like I said, for Klamath Union, this is the part of the order that can do some damage. And so important to get the leadoff guy on base. Safford takes the pitch high, 1-0. Of course, Ryan Glidden is on deck for Klamath Union. Middle infield at double play depth for Henley. Going to try to turn 2 with Shively and Carpenter cheating towards the bag a bit. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is taken for a ball. Must have been a bit high to Safford. He's ahead in the count 2-0.
Well, if KU wants any pitcher pitching against them, it's this one, especially on this Henley team who's loaded with pitchers.
Yeah, a guy who's been a little rusty for a little bit. Price, another one of those guys who, when he is around the zone, can produce contact, weak contact, and try to get you some outs. Problem for Price has been finding the strike zone in his starts last season. Again, a small sample size this year, so we haven't seen too much of him. The 2-1 swung on a miss by Safford, 2-2.
Good pitch there.
Yeah, if he's able to command the zone, throw good hard strikes. And at this point in the ball game, when you're up by 9 runs, a little contact here and there, let your defense work behind you. You want to pitch so that way these guys can hit the ball to your defense. 2-2 on its way from Price. Off-speed pitch taken the other way, deep but bending foul. Out towards the patio here at Kiger Stadium. One of the things I love about coming here, especially during the summer, is just pitching up a chair out there on the patio. Got a few parents on either side doing it.
No concessions. Sorry, folks. No beer.
Not here at Kiger, anyway. Safford fouls one back, 2-2. I do know, though, but speaking about concessions, that when the Falcons play their home games this year, the concessions will be open. Last year, we had such a great turnout for games during the summer here at Kiger Stadium, something that haven't seen in a long, long time here for the Klamath Falls Falcons, and hoping to produce the same thing. So during the summer, the concessions will be open, so I encourage you to come on out then. 2-2. Pitch misses down, 3-2 to Safford.
Good eye, good eye. Safford's really good at staying alive in the box there and making contact when it matters.
He's got a good approach for sure. He knows his strike zone well. Here's the 3-2. Fouled off into the parking lot.
4th foul. I noticed that when I pulled up in my car, no one was parked against the field.
Yeah, not a whole lot protecting your car here, although I was silly enough to park right in the first row behind the Henley dugout. So my car is in the danger zone, but it kind of always is when I come out here.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, that's all I can hope for.
It comes with the territory, I guess.
Park at your own risk. 3-2 still the count to Safford. Fouls it off once more. Staying alive. Good approach here for Safford. Trying to make Price work out there. And the deeper you get into an at-bat, especially for a guy like Safford, usually means a higher chance of a positive outcome for the hitter.
That was the 5th foul that he's hit this at-bat.
3-2 again. This time, ground ball over towards first, and there it is. Ground ball into right field. Jones digging for 3. The throw is a bullet from right field, but it winds up past the third baseman, Meyer. Price was there to pick him up. It's going to be a hit and an error, which allows Safford to advance to second. So a single, and Jones advancing to third there. So 2 in scoring position for the Pelicans. No outs in the 7th inning, and here is Ryan Glidden. Safford, by the way, for his part, now 3 for 4. And that probably his most proudest at-bat of the day. I mean, like you said, long at-bat, ton of foul balls, and was able to win with a base hit the other way.
It's exactly what you want to do in the full count.
Yeah, couldn't ask for a better outcome. Here's Glidden. Takes the first pitch for a strike outside, 0-1. Glidden has walked, struck out, but he also had that RBI triple in the first inning. If he was going to come up big again, this is the time to do it for his team. Price set. Here's the pitch. And that one misses in. Count even at 1. After Glidden in the order, it's the Klamath Union pitcher, Reese Johnson. Price looks at the runner at third. That's Jones. Now delivers home. A pitch misses, and it's 2-1. Safford aboard at second. Price now with the 2-1. Slide step, fires in a swinging strike, count even at 2. Glidden a little bit behind the heater there from Price. Price has to realize these two runners out there don't ultimately matter all that much. It'd still be a wide margin between these two teams. So just coming right after the batter, certainly the mindset you have to have. And Glidden did not take strike 3 there. It was ball 3 instead. I think you may have heard the groans from the Henley dugout on that one. Hard to disagree with them, as the count is full to Glidden.
The ump is picky with high balls and low balls.
That one misses low, no question, and will load the bases for Reese Johnson. Walk, single, and a walk has loaded the bases for Reese Johnson, looking for his first hit of the day. He walked in the first and struck out in his next 2 at-bats. But now as the pitcher, a chance to try to help out his own cause a little bit. I'm sure he would love to be back out there in the top of the 8th inning if Klamath Union can find a way to extend the game. Although still a tall, tall mountain to climb for the Pels, down by 9 runs in the bottom of the 7th.
As an underclassman hitter, you can't ask for much more than the bases loaded to prove yourself as one of the main guys.
Good confidence builder as well for the young man. The 1-0 is looked at for a strike. 1-1. Price now working from the windup once more with the bases loaded. Here's the 1-1. Checks his swing. Did he go? He did not. And so that'll be ball 2. Good job there by Takini to keep that pitch in front of him. You know, like we've kind of said today, a ball or 2 might get away from you, but especially with the runner on third, doing a good job of keeping it in front of him there. Here's the 2-1 from Price. Swung on and missed. Johnson chased that one out of the zone, and it evens the count at 2. Still nobody out in the 7th, and Jack Everett waits on deck. Price, a deep breath before the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Down goes Johnson for the 3rd time today on strikes, and that will bring up Jack Everett.
Tough break.
Everett is 0 for 2 today. He has struck out twice. He was also hit by a pitch to start the 6th inning. Looking to come up with a knock for his team and try to score 2, or a ball in the gap could score 3. Glidden is aboard at first, and he's got some speed. So if a ball's hit hard enough into the gap, you could clear the bases if you're Jack Everett. Here, down to the count 0-1. Price ready to deliver. That one is going to skip to the plate. Count is even, 1-1. Nathan Ferns due up next for KU if this inning continues. Of course, double play in order and a force at any base. Henley's defense has options on a ground ball hit in the infield. The 1-1 swung through for strike 2 against Jack Everett.
If I'm KU, I'm swinging for the fences in this situation.
You'd think to do that every time. But really, ultimately, I think a grand slam is good, but a base hit is better because you keep guys on base, at this point at least, as Everett goes down on strikes for the 3rd time today.
Great framing job by Jacoby. No.
Yeah, Takini does that. There you go. Takini does that real well. I said it earlier in the broadcast, but every so often he'll steal a strike for his pitcher, and that time it was strike 3. Here's Ferns, tall batting stance, the base is loaded. That one misses down, 1-0. Ferns also has struck out twice today, once in the 2nd inning, once in the 6th. He singled, though, in the 4th. Here he swings through the 1-0 pitch, and now the count's even.
The players on base are like, come on, please, we're drowning out here.
They just want to get home. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed, 1-2. That was a good off-speed pitch there by Price. He's been throwing mostly fastballs, but that time went with the bender, had Ferns out in front of it. We'll see now if he decides to go back to the well on a 1-2 pitch or if he comes with the heater. He shook off the first offering from Takini. He clearly has a pitch in mind. Here it is. It's strike three, and that is the ball game. The Pelicans leave the bases loaded to end this one, and they fall once more to the Henley Hornets 11-2. We're going to take a break here on 104.3 and 960 Sports, and when we come back, we'll wrap this one up for you, send you on your way here on mybasin.com.
Parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Final score here from Kiger Stadium. The Hornets pick up another win, now 7-0 in conference play. They are 11-2 victors over Klamath Union. For Henley in this game, 11 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors. They leave 7 runners on base. For Klamath Union, 2 runs, 5 hits, 4 errors, and they left 9 runners on base. The winning pitcher today is Corbin Hamilton. Worked 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, 1 earned, allowed 4 hits, struck out 14. The losing pitcher today would be P.J. Safford, 4 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 9 hits, 8 runs, 6 of those earned, and he struck out 4. Guy who came in and slammed the door for Henley was Max Price. 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, but he did strike out the 3 outs that he gathered in that inning. Want to name our Pacific Power play of the day today, and I have to give it to something that I've never seen before. You know, you go to the ball field and you hope to see something you've never seen before. It's a Mark Carpenter opposite field home run. I'm going to have to go with that as my Pacific Power play of the day. Walter, if you were to choose a play of the day today, what would you choose?
I really like that Glidden triple. But the Mark Carpenter RBI, you know, we knew that he was going to try and go opposite, but I just was not expecting that to go out, and it did. So I'd have to give it to that too.
All right, there you go. Mark Carpenter, you've got our Pacific Power play of the day. Want to mention a couple other notables for Henley, a 3-for-5 day for Jacoby Dakini, a couple of extra base hits and a couple of RBI for him, 2-hit day for Bo Pyle and an RBI, and Connor Shively was 1-for-4 with a couple of runs batted in for him as well. And we'll talk a little bit about Klamath Union as well, a 3-for-4 day for P.J. Safford. Scored a couple runs. The only other Pelicans with hits today were Ryan Glidden and Nathan Ferns, as again, Henley wins 11-2. For Henley, this improves them to 11-2 on the season and 7-0 in Skyline Conference play. For Klamath Union, they dip to 7-8 overall, 2-5 in conference play. These two teams meet 2 more times this season, both of them coming up on Saturday for a noon doubleheader, and that game will be broadcast right here on mybasin.com and 104.3 and 960 Sports, with our free video, of course, continuing all throughout the season. Want to thank everybody who made today's broadcast possible. Of course, both head coaches, Sean Teeters and Michael Overstreet, for getting with us before the game, getting to us what we need. Today's official scorer, Mike Safford. Thanks for clarifying everything for us, making sure we halfway know what we're talking about up here. Big thanks to Safford. And, of course, the Henley scorer and executive director of the station, Rob Sims, here at 104.3 and 960 Sports. And also want to thank you for tagging along in another edition of Henley Baseball. Walter, you got your feet wet a little bit today with some color and some play-by-play. Would you like to share any final thoughts before we head off the air today?
No, I'd just like to thank you for your patience with me so far.
You're coming along, man.
I'm training, so.
We'll get you a badge that says I'm training still.
Yeah, I'm
That's
learning.
All right, man. Good work today.
Thank you.
All right, for Walter Hartley, my name is Josh Eldridge. 11-2 final here. Henley wins. In the meantime, we will say good night, and we'll see you on Saturday. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll get you back to Fox Sports Radio on 104.3 and 960 Sports, and also on mybasin.com. Good night.